In a land where faith has shaped culture, conscience, and community for centuries, an image once meant to inspire reflection has instead caused deep pain. In Kochi, Kerala, home to one of the oldest Christian communities in the world, the sacred scene of the Last Supper, a moment of love, sacrifice, and divine humility, has been distorted in the name of art. In this artwork, the traditional depiction of Jesus and his 12 apostles at the Last Supper has been radically altered. The central figure, long understood by Christians as Jesus Christ, the Son of God, appears to be replaced or ambiguously represented, while the surrounding apostles are portrayed as 12 nuns. For believers, this transformation is not a neutral artistic choice, it reinterprets a sacred biblical moment, in a way that strips it of its theological meaning, and replaces it with imagery many find confusing and deeply disrespectful. What was once a solemn scene of sacrifice, communion, and divine love is perceived as being recast into something alien to Christian faith and tradition. What millions of Christians hold as holy has been altered, vulgarized, and displayed publicly, leaving the faithful feeling humiliated, wounded, and unheard. This is not merely a debate about creativity or expression. It is a moment that forces us to ask, where do we draw the line between freedom and sacrilege? When sacred symbols are mocked, it is not paint on canvas that bleeds, it is the hearts of believers. Today, we speak not in hatred, but in sorrow, not in violence, but in truth, standing for dignity, reverence, and respect for faith. Pope Leo XIV has expressed a profound and aching sorrow regarding the situation of the faithful in India. His reflections on the past year highlight a disturbing trend, where the unarmed peace he advocates for has been met with increasing hostility. For many Christians in India, 2025 has been a year defined by fear and state silence. According to the United Christian Forum, UCF, over 700 incidents of violence were documented between January and November 2025 alone, a stark escalation that now averages nearly 2 attacks every day. These atrocities are not isolated, they represent a systematic pressure on the vulnerable faithful, particularly tribal and Dalit Christians. 1. The desecration of final rest. One of the most macabre trends highlighted this year is the denial of burial rites. In states like Chhattisgarh and Odisha, mobs have repeatedly blocked the burial of Christians, claiming the land belongs to local deities. Forced exhumations. In December 2025, reports emerged from the Kanker district of a mob exhuming a body and attacking the grieving community. Coerced reconversion. Families have been told they can only bury their loved ones if they first reconvert to Hinduism. The Pope has called this a violation of the sacred dignity of both the living and the dead. 2. The weaponization of anti-conversion laws. The year has seen a draconian tightening of anti-conversion laws, particularly in Uttar Pradesh. Wrongful arrests. Over 1,000 individuals have been incarcerated under these laws as of late 2025. The conversion narrative, religious gatherings, even those for charity or prayer, are frequently stormed by vigilante groups alleging forced conversion. In December 2025, even a Christmas feast for differently abled children in Jabalpur was disrupted and the attendees harassed. 3. The shadow over Christmas 2025. The recent Christmas season was marked by what many leaders call, not merry, not peaceful. Attacks on celebrations. From Palakkad in Kerala to Nulbari in Assam, carol singers were assaulted, and school nativity scenes were burned. Vigilantism. In Haridwar, a government-run hotel was forced to cancel a Christmas event after protests labeled the celebration anti-Hindu. Arson and vandalism. Churches in multiple districts were set on fire, and Christian homes were destroyed during mob rampages, in the weeks leading up to the new year. The Pope's reflection on the atrocities. Pope Leo XIV has lamented the impunity of these acts. He noted with concern that while nearly 600 incidents were recorded, in the first 9 months of 2025, only a tiny fraction resulted in police action against the perpetrators. In his address to the world, he reminded the global community. When a person is denied the right to pray, to celebrate, or even to be buried in peace, it is not just a community that suffers, it is the very soul of a nation's constitution that is being wounded. As the sun sets on 2025, a year of profound transition and trial, Pope Leo XIV has offered a global reflection that serves as both a mirror and a compass. In his first full year as the successor of Peter, the Pope does not shy away from the shadows of the past, acknowledging with a heavy heart the wounds of the faithful and the atrocities that have scarred communities, from the plains of India to the war zones of the Levant. His message is one of holy realism. He mourns the unfulfilled needs of the year gone by, the silence of justice, in the face of persecution, and the sacrilegious distortions of faith in our culture, yet he refuses to let the Church retreat into despair. Instead, he presents a narrative for 2026 titled, Towards an Unarmed and Disarming Peace. This is more than a slogan, it is a month-by-month spiritual journey, designed to strip away the armor of fear that dictates modern life. From the nourishment of the Word in January to the defense of the most vulnerable throughout the year, Pope Leo XIV invites us to a radical transformation, to believe that true power lies not in the logic of weapons, but in the disarming strength of love. The following account details his reflections on the year we leave behind and the 12-month pilgrimage of hope he has set before us. Pope Leo's primary reflection on 2025 is the shock of his own election. He has shared that his personal prayer during the conclave was one of total surrender. He sees his first 7 months not as a time of solving the world's problems, but of anchoring the Church in the gospel. His main regret is that he inherited a papacy in the middle of a Jubilee year, 2025, started by his predecessor, Pope Francis. While he successfully saw the Jubilee through, he has expressed a sense of being a steward of someone else's vision, waiting for 2026 to fully launch his own specific mission of unarmed peace. Pope Leo XIV has been deeply moved by the rising hatred for the faith observed in 2025. He has addressed 3 specific areas of suffering: the silent cry of persecuted Christians. He has spoken forcefully about the blasphemy of using religion to justify violence. He specifically highlighted the suffering of Christians in Nigeria, Nicaragua, and parts of South Asia, calling their endurance a prophetic sign that the world needs more than ever. The martyrdom of the poor. Having spent decades as a missionary in Peru, Leo XIV views economic injustice as an atrocity. He expressed regret that the global throwaway culture continues to discard the elderly and the unborn, stating that the Church's failure to fully stop this is a weight on his heart. The crisis in the Levant. His 2025 visit to Lebanon was a turning point. He was seen visibly weeping with families of victims, from past explosions and current conflicts. His regret here is the impotence of diplomacy, in the face of the clamor of weapons, in Gaza and Ukraine. Unfulfilled needs and holy impatience. In his final addresses of 2025 including the Urbi et Orbi, the Pope hinted at a holy impatience regarding the youth and technology. He expressed concern that he hasn't yet found the right language to pull young people away from digital loneliness and back into real community. Clerical crisis. He remains pained by the ongoing wounds caused by the abuse crisis and the exhaustion of his priests, leading to his specific prayer intention for priests in crisis in April 2026.